All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alternative and Affordable Housing in the Bay Area and Beyond Zoom meeting. My name is Erin Beeman. I am currently living in Vallejo, California, and I'm hosting this meeting monthly to explore co-housing and co-living options in the Bay Area and up north towards Oregon and into Washington, and just trying to be kind of a resource hub for anyone that might be new to co-housing or have questions or want to share about their own projects. And today I have a very special guest speaker named Jasmine Gold, and she is a business owner in Katati. She owns Songbird Healing Center as well as the Stone's Throw Gift Center, and she has experience living, forming a community and living in co-housing in Katati at Frog Song. And currently, she is spearheading a new forming group for a co-housing project in the southern Sonoma area, currently looking in Sebastopol. And we can maybe read that marketing statement in a little bit. And yeah, I'm part of her group and we meet twice a month on the first and third Mondays. And as we are actively looking at properties and seeking investors. So I think with that, I will pass it over to Jasmine and we'll just go from there. Hi, Jasmine.
Glad to be here. So one little correction, it's we're mostly looking in Pengrove area, not in Sebastopol.
Thank you.
Uh, Um, and I really love this. Well, I love Sonoma County because it feels like it's a nice balance of not being too urban and not being too rural and not being too hot and not being too cold. And I love being close to the ocean and close to the redwoods. I I moved up here into Sonoma County at the end of 2000 to be part of the Frog Song Co-housing group that was forming, as Aaron said. And so I got an integral look at the development process. We were working with Katie McCammett and with Chuck Durrett, who were part of the co-housing company at that time. And at that time, they had a streamlined development model where we would team up with the developer, and so we would all be working together to help make it happen. So I really know what it takes to create community, and it's what I'm passionate about. Uh, I created. I built. My store is here in Cotati, California, because it's a really nice area because um, it's not too built up. It's built between a lot of different communities. For those of you who may not know this area, it's kind of between Petaluma and Santa Rosa and Sebastopol, and uh, because they're more built up, you get to have the benefit of just being in a small town without having all the build up around it. So in my area, ideal area to be is within 5 miles of downtown Cotati, and then I'm looking at different communities and where we can make something happen. One of the things that's really nice about Sonoma County is that it allows you to put two ADUs, two accessory dwelling units on each lot, along with the single family home. And they just approved for them to be both of them to be detached. So you can actually put three dwellings on one lot. And so most of the lots in the area I'm looking at are zoned for 3 acre lots. And so we're looking at properties that are 6 to 9 acres, and that would allow us to put 12 dwellings on each one, potentially one home of any size, two accessory dwelling units up to 1,200 square feet. And we could also have a junior unit up to 500 square feet that's part of the footprint of the main home. So that's what we're looking at. Right now, there would not be, there's not the potential to have everybody own their own home. There would be probably a tenants in common ownership structure, which could eventually become an LLC or some other kind of development as the lots were divided up. Each lot could have its own owner. But there's also the possibility that down the road, the Sonoma County is going to allow the ADUs to be sold separately. The city of Sebastopol just approved that, so that just approved having ADUs sold individually. So I'm hoping the county is going to follow suit on that. That's a new law that California passed that allows the jurisdictions to be able to choose if they want to sell the accessory units separately. So there's different properties that I've been looking at. I've been actively looking really kind of about really the last 6 months to a year, but I've kind of looked on and off over the last couple years. And but what kind of always discourages me and makes me say maybe it's not worth it to keep going. It's just the high cost of building and everything. Affordability came up, and one of the things I've tried to look at before was creating something more affordable. But the way construction costs have gotten right now, uh, it's almost impossible to do something that's affordable by design, and it takes money to make it happen, which is why we're looking for people who would like to be investors and be in on the ground floor of what's happening. Uh, because and the advantage of joining in now, you've got the risks and putting money in, then it might not necessarily work out, but you also get to be involved in the decision making. It's like, how many times are you going to have common meals each week? Who's going to do the landscaping? Who's going to what uh, what the pet policy is going to be? So by getting involved at the beginning, you get the opportunity to really shape the community and say, what do you want to have it look like? I think I'll leave it at that for the moment and open it up to questions. And Erin, you said you had the property up too. That there's one
Yeah.
property that I'm actually especially looking at right now. It's on a street called Rose Avenue, and it's got one single family home on it right now, but it can be divided into 3 lots. It's also got a beautiful workshop already built, and it's also has a few other buildings there as well.
Okay, so yes, I can pull that up. I also have the marketing statement, but I can post that maybe in the chat later, or we can just look at the property. Like, let's go shopping, everybody.
Yeah.
Woohoo! Um, so here's the main listing, and I did scroll down and I can see how it relates to Santa Rosa and the Bay. So there you go. Oh, is it gonna let me? There we go. So that's about where it's located in California. And if I click on this, I can go through the photos. So can you guys see that okay? Can you see it, Jasmine?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So there's the main house.
So one of the things I've realized too is that I really like hills. I don't want to be somewhere that's really flat. And
Yeah,
also the advantage of the hills is that then you can't see your neighbors as well either, and they can't see you, which makes it easier to do what you want to do on the property.
I like the idea of building slightly subterranean as well.
In the background of if you scroll up, in the very back of that property there, you can see this other tree line. That's two properties. That's on the top right.
Oh,
Uh,
back here?
Yeah, that's a property that is 4 lots of bare land that we were looking at for quite a while, but the owner wants way too much money for it, and one of the things we realized that by buying something that's already got an existing home on it, that can make it a little more affordable initially, because you're not just paying for bare land uh, as you uh, as you try to make something happen. Some people can already be living there.
Okay, so this is the road that leads up to it, and then this is the driveway that we go up, right?
Yeah.
And then we looked at the house. So is this the area that would be developed over
Uh,
here?
Yeah, and then there's a little bit to the left on the picture of the house as well. The property goes up a little bit more beyond that.
Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah, because everybody went off walking that way. So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, let's keep
And also
going.
there's 2 other lots that are not for sale right now, but are owned by the same family. Oh, that shows the borders on it there.
Okay.
um, which they would be willing to sell to us at some point if we wanted to, and so that would also give it the ability to have more than just 12 the 12 dwellings that this would have.
Okay. Okay.
It's been in
And
the families.
how far are you from like town there?
Uh, so from the town of Pengrove, well, it's fairly close to Old Redwood Highway. I think it's about I mean, it's not right on public transportation. It would be about a half a mile walk, I think, to the bus stop on Old Redwood Highway. But there's also a lot of different public transportation options for seniors as well. Like there's this paratransit option where they come right to your door. Um, and then, yeah, and so so the town of Pengrove has a small little a community market and a thriving downtown. And then Cotati, that I'm a lot more familiar with, is a few miles away. And then it's just like 10 minutes into Petaluma, 15 minutes into Santa Rosa. Does that sound about right to you, Aaron? About
Yeah, I
half a
think
mile from Pengrove, because we met there at that park before we.
yeah, yeah, I would say between a half a mile and a mile. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's a cute little town for sure. Katati doesn't have a lot of services, I would say. There's no hospital or anything. So you'd have to go up to Santa Rosa, but Santa Rosa is a
Actually,
big,
Roanoke Park has a hospital.
does
Well,
it?
no, and they got medical service. I mean, they got doctor's offices. I guess there might not be a full hospital there, but yeah, but Kaiser definitely has a lot of offices there.
Yep. We have done a little bit of preliminary discussions about like maybe we'd like to have a little bit of livestock, permaculture eventually, of course, shared meals and everything. Um, because I'm in the healing arts, I'm always interested in having a little bit of massage studio space available for hosting small gatherings or teaching yoga or something like that. So, having a little bit of space and, allowance for some small gatherings is important to me. Okay, so I can stop sharing this maybe?
Uh,
Does anybody else want to see anything else?
How many so the house is livable? The structure that's on there now is livable?
yeah, the structure that there, it's a 4 bedroom home. It's only got one full bath and one half bath, but it's definitely livable. It's right now being occupied. It's been in the family for 5 generations, and there's a family with 3 kids right now, and they're going to relocate to Nevada eventually once the house sells. And so they're living in the house, and it's livable in.
Yeah.
And it's got a few little things that need work in the kitchen, like that kitchen hood is not quite complete, and the kitchen counters, not sure. Oh yeah, there you can see the kitchen counter that never got quite completed. Um, some of it could use some more flooring, but overall, it's in generally pretty good shape. I've looked at a lot of properties over the last year, and most of the older properties like this are in much worse shape.
How are the comps? Have you looked at like comps for the area as far as like I guess acreage for the land and then square footage for the house? Like
Um,
how's
yeah,
the
so
price? Yeah.
Um, I think it's a little bit overpriced. It's been on the market since the end of November right now. If we tried to put in an offer, we'd probably come in at $2 million right now. But my agent thinks that's a little bit high. But there haven't been any inspections done on the property, so she says that would be the way to go. Would be once we do our inspections, then we can talk down the price based on the results of the inspection. They also want a long escrow because well they want they don't they want because they need to find a place to live, and then they want to rent back for 2 months. So there's a lot of time. I think It doesn't seem like they're in a hurry. So, well, I don't think they want to like let us option it for a year, which is what we were able to do with Frog Song. That's what really helped Frog Song get built, was being able to not pay for the land until we actually started construction. So we wouldn't be able to do something like that, but I think they would give us plenty of time to do whatever inspections and feasibility we wanted.
So then are you looking to like put together some investors and make an offer within like what amount of time?
Well, whatever amount of time it takes to get the right group together. I think it would be ideal to do it in the sooner rather than later, because anybody could come up and buy it from under us. But right now, we definitely need one or two more people to do it. If I felt like we had the right group in the next couple of weeks, I'd put in an offer in the next couple of weeks if we had the money to do it. But if it took 2 months to form the group and really get to know each other and feel like we're the right fit to live together, then we'd spend 2 months and hope the property was still there, and then or keep looking for new properties if it run away.
So then like are you looking to put together like 20% down? Like how many people would you want for that?
Um,
Or
so
would you want to pay cash for the
uh,
whole thing?
uh, well, I mean, again, it's what people have the money for. If we could do it in all cash, it's always nice because then you don't have to worry about the mortgage. But realistically, I think there's going to be some amount down and some amount on a mortgage, and then so I think the shares would be unequal shares. Initially, would just be whatever it takes to get it built, and then looking at construction loans or other types of loans to make things built happen afterwards. It hasn't all been worked out yet. That's some of the early stages that we're still figuring out.
I just linked the marketing statement in the chat, and I'll also link the Zillow listing. Um, and I will
Okay.
link, well, my information is at the bottom of the marketing statement if you want to get more information about when we meet for investors. So here's the listing. Okay. And I just want to be sensitive that we're still recording. So if there's any other questions or comments maybe regarding this portion, let's do that now, and then I can stop recording and we can be a little more informal.
Yeah, I have a couple questions.
Mhm.
Jasmine, a term that I'm not familiar with yet. I think you called it tenants in common.
Uh, yeah,
And
so uh,
what what would that be?
that would be everybody owning the property all together. As so like Aaron and I and whoever was involved, we would all own the property.
It's just
Okay.
one way of holding land title in a group, and it's
Okay.
probably a more commonly used form of holding land title in the West Coast. And it's, I think, more informal than forming an LLC. So if you form an LLC, you've got some overhead and some paperwork to deal with on an annual basis, whereas with TICs, I think that's a little bit more, the banks are a little bit more used to seeing TICs. I mean, they're used to LLCs, of course, but TICs they're a little bit more familiar with as opposed to like a co-op structure or something like that. But TICs come with their own risks, handing it, like if you should pass away, what happens to your share? Does it automatically go to your spouse or not? Um, there's some liability and exposure if one person wants to leave or if one person gets in trouble and can't afford the payment. Like if the TIC is all on one loan versus being separately, like having a loan with some separation in it. So there's just some pros and cons to every format of holding title, and TIC is just one option.
And
But
that
what
isn't necessarily the final option that we would go with, but it's the simplest for initially buying the loan. buying the property, and then later down the road you can always change the ownership. A lot of those concerns with it can be addressed uh, by like by the agreement. The tenants, the agreement documents that are put in place by the community. You can also, if you're in a trust, the trust can fill up. Ideally, everybody has a trust, and the trust, a living trust, and then that can be the ownership, and that can spell out who gets the property when you die. And then the liability issue can be dealt with by everybody having an umbrella liability insurance policy.
And life insurance.
Also, the attorney I was talking to was saying too, if you take out life insurance on each person, so that if they die, then you collect the life insurance to cover their share of the property.
Okay.
California makes it extremely expensive to form LLCs, so not as many people do them in California. I don't know what it's like in Colorado.
I don't know. I was just gonna thank you for that. Throw out there. I had a neighbor a couple years ago who said, when I leave Denver, I'm going to put up a modular home, and this is the company I'm going to use. And so I've kind of been following modular construction for a couple of years now, and some of the homes are extraordinary. They can go up in a matter of months, and the cost seems to be really good to me. So that's, when you talk about construction costs, that might be a way to help those costs be lower by using, with the modular, they build it in their factory in XYZ, and then they transport it and they put it up, the exterior, the foundation, and then they do the interior work. But some of them are really lovely.
That's what I believe they're doing at Polestar.
Oh, modular build.
They're all going to be, because they had a lot of talk about this, that it would, because there would be so much construction noise for so long as this place is, such.
Yeah, that my father, I mean, we lived in a very small ranch house that he built in the 70s that was modular. He was ahead of his time, and the thing was like a bank vault. I mean, it just felt so solid. So that, yeah, I think that's an option to framing and all of this other stuff with construction.
I believe they're incorporating that, Deb. So, since they've just broken ground on the land part, because it took so long dealing with the city, just because of this, the place is so huge and it had so many land changing it from a farm to, this kind of a thing just took a long time. But in the meantime, they did come up with this idea of doing it this way, and especially because of all the neighbors and how much construction there will be, and you don't want to make enemies, so that'll be a good one to see. Yeah. How that all turns out, because it's gonna.
I'm a proponent. And then my last question, just
So I did want to say modular construction is one of the types of construction that we are looking at. Also, some people would like tiny homes. There are. It's an area we haven't started researching at exactly what would be the ideal situation. I personally am chemically sensitive, so a lot of the modular homes are very toxic. So I need to look at ones that would be a little bit more green, but they're definitely out there now. There are a lot like that.
Yeah, no, I did not come through the pandemic unscathed, and now I am sensitive to everything. And I just stumbled on this company. Of course, they're on the other side of the country. They're in Maine, and they're all about the low VOC stuff. And another company I've been following, and I can't pronounce it, it's Danish, but I think their website's worth looking at because they've also got an area of ADUs is HYGGE. I don't know how to pronounce it, even though I've looked it up. They beautiful stuff, beautiful stuff.
I've been
So
looking at this
to
place called Geoships that they're just getting started with building these amazing geodesic domes out of ceramic non-toxic materials.
that's important to me, and I've so to segueing into my last question, any testing on the history of the land, like anything toxic, how much pesticide use was there? Is there, been any testing of the land or what's around there, as far as, good old Roundup being used on the farms and that kind of stuff?
So yeah, they haven't done any tests at all. So that's all part of what we would have to do once we put in an offer in. We would be responsible for doing the inspections and paying for them and seeing if it still made sense to buy the property.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? I think I'm going to stop recording. Okay, let's stop this. Yes.